Well, first of all, it's a real pleasure to be here to be able to meet some of the cast of Beyond Belief, a tribute to John Hume, whom I knew very well from the mid-'80s on until the day he passed. And also have to pay tribute to Pat Hume, who was his real partner. John Hume would not have been John Hume had it not been for Pat. So we miss both of them, and I'm just delighted that this play is going to give them their due tribute on just the impact they had. John was someone who had a deep passion I can still hear in his voice. It's people, not territory, and it's all about jobs and investment, and it's not about which community you are, it's about all of Northern Ireland. Of course, his beloved Derry was always front and center. I worked for Ted Kennedy in the 1985 to 1992, which is when I got to know Hume. And the two of them had first met in the 70s when he was known as the Martin Luther King of Northern Ireland, and John was sought out by Ted Kennedy to just get advice. And for the rest of Ted Kennedy's life, he relied on John for anything Ireland. And on a personal level, they just bonded. They both liked a good joke, they loved a good song, and they loved a good laugh. But they also had a vision for Northern Ireland, that there could be peace and that the two communities could live together. So John spent the rest of his life pushing Washington, Democrats and Republicans, presidents, senators, members of Congress, to do more for Ireland. He's responsible for we call it the Tip O'Neill Fund, of the millions of dollars that would come through the Ireland Fund, the investment fund that's to this day still helping people here. But he had a vision and a passion that started back with President Carter, through President Reagan, and Bill Clinton took it to the next level. And I think because the time was right, he saw that there was a possibility for peace, and that's largely because of John Hume said now's the time. He had been talking to Jerry Adams secretly for almost a decade at that point. And I was in the White House, and I still remember this the White House mess, where I found out later foreigners weren't supposed to be there, but I told him that I was getting a lot of pressure to give a visa to Jerry Adams to try and help a ceasefire. And he had counseled against doing it earlier, but now he said, now I think's the time. And John was a guiding post throughout all the negotiations by President Clinton to try and get that ceasefire. And then obviously when George Mitchell came in and the Good Friday Agreement, John was front and center at all of that. So his legacy is peace in Northern Ireland. His legacy is investment in jobs in Northern Ireland. And his legacy is hope for the next generation, that they can live in peace. I met earlier today someone who says, he's a ceasefire baby. They've never known violence. And 200 or 300 people a year were dying back then. And so every time I come to Northern Ireland, I always look around saying, is it you, which one of you would have been killed? I don't know which one, but I know some of them would. And that's John Hume's amazing legacy here. So I'm delighted to meet the producers of this wonderful play, Beyond Belief, and I think it's going to be an extraordinary tribute to those who knew John, but most importantly, to those who did not. Thank you.